Okay, so welcome to the Untethered Workcation info session. We're talking about today Oaxaca in Mexico in May. The dates are on screen, May 23rd through the 30th, and I am your host, Andrea Holyfield. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why this initiative was started. I've been hosting workcations for a while, but in 2020, I left my full-time job. I was in a toxic work environment. I packed up my little box here and left. This was after giving my 30-day notice. Now, had I known in January what was coming, maybe I would have thugged it out. Maybe I would have stayed a little bit longer because I left with just my skills and my hard head, nothing lined up. And COVID made it really difficult to really look for opportunities. I had speaking engagements lined up and things like that because I was a coach, and all of those things got canceled. So, needless to say, 2020 was a crazy year, but I did manage to build a coaching business and work in that business until May of 2022 when I landed a full time, fully remote global role. And I loved my job. I loved my job until the very last day, which was October 31st of last year. I didn't start hosting workcations because I was running away from work. I actually, to be honest, started hosting workcations because I was considering where I might want to live if I left the US. The US political climate was just doing its thing, still is, and my health and some other things. And I was just like, I want to start seeing some new places. And so I started inviting some of my friends. And what I learned is that there was this resistance, this hesitancy from even entrepreneurs to leave their four walls. They were like waking up, brushing their teeth, sitting at the computer for hours working, working longer at home than they did even in the office. What I learned was that work had found a way to be toxic even at home, even working from home, because most of us are conditioned into a work model that prioritizes grind and productivity and urgency and speed. And somewhere along the way, we internalize the idea that exhaustion is a normal part of work. Right? We're all exhausted and burned out, and that means that we put in a good day's work. And that just didn't sit right well with me. So, the philosophy behind the Untethered brand isn't about rejecting work, it's about rejecting this very narrow and I think unhealthy definition of what work is supposed to be like. Because I've learned that when the environment shifts, the nervous system shifts. And when the nervous system shifts, clarity changes. And baby, when clarity changes, we change. So now my brain, my body, my spirit, it knows without a doubt that work doesn't have to be exhausting. So my very first workcation was just me booking a large condo, as a matter of fact, in Playa, and inviting a few women that I traveled with before to join me. And I wanted to stay there for 10 days. Not everyone can stay for 10 days, but people spent the time that they could. They spent 3 days, 5 days, a week. Right. And we walked down to the local market and we bought our own groceries and we took local taxis and we visited different places, right? We didn't go as tourists. We didn't go to a resort. We sat at home and we worked during the day. But we realized that when we finished work, we still had plenty of energy to explore culture. So the concept has since evolved. Days during the workcation are now intentionally structured, but not rigid. There is a natural rhythm to the day that supports both focus and flow. Mornings are grounded. You can choose to participate in morning rituals like yoga or quiet time or tea or even swimming. You're encouraged to wake up and actually start your day, right? So this is designed for people that work during the day, work in remote environments, and can complete their job, from a distance. So you're encouraged to get up and start your day, not roll out of bed and just hop on camera. But work is intentional. It's intentional with the workcation. There's spaces for meetings and responsibilities, but without this pressure to fill every minute of the hour. You're encouraged to take breaks and have reflection and recalibration, and that's supported, right? That's supported because we have a chef, so you're not worried about that. There will be a masseuse on site, so you can book a service during the day, right? Evenings are unstructured. So a couple of us may decide we want to go into town and visit one of the local restaurants, or someone might decide, I just want to stay home. I'm going to fast. I'm going to have tea. Whatever you want to do, there is room and space for whatever your body actually needs, right? The goal isn't to optimize every single minute. It's not my goal, but yours could be, and you're permitted to do that. Now, the experience is intentionally designed, not over programmed, but not bare bones. Each one of you will have your own private king single bedroom. We'll have reliable, high speed Wi Fi. You'll have access to thoughtfully designed workspaces that support real focus. I mentioned we'll have a chef providing daily morning meals so that your day can begin grounded and nourished and not rushed, right? You won't need to think about logistics first thing in the morning. And I like to really be intentional about having a morning ritual when I'm on a workcation. So you'll have the ability to build that and imagine what that's like. You can also sign up for a free coaching session with me while you're there if you want to explore your career strategy, your career trajectory, or any concepts that you'd like to debrief that are career related. And as I mentioned, we'll also have time for cultural immersion, movement, grounding practices, a local walk, things that create a sense of safety and connection and shared energy. Everything is structured to support both productivity and well-being. Okay. The space is more than a place to stay. It's an experience. And this is an experience that most of us have not had. I am intentional in this design. It's an environment that was intentionally curated, right? I purposefully do not go after resorts or locations that will take you away from the culture, right? Our home base will support focus and calm and clarity, not just beauty, but it's beautiful. The layout is light. There's common areas. The workspaces are really chosen to make work feel natural and supported, not forced or cramped. And there's spaces for deep work no matter how you like to work. Some people like music and noise and movement. Some people would love the idea of going outside with their laptop and working by the pool. Others want quiet, disconnected spaces for work. And whatever your work style is, it will be supported. This is about functionality, nervous system safety, okay, and a sense of groundedness for one entire week. Stepping outside of the walls that you've been in and living while working instead of feeling like I can't wait to stop working so that I can live, right? I was also very intentional with the location. I've not been to Oaxaca before. I've been to various countries in Mexico, but I've not been to Oaxaca. This was chosen because I did some research and I wanted a beautiful location, but I wanted a place with rhythm and culture and a vibe, and I wanted it to be livable. I wanted it to have the infrastructure that would support, you know, a handful of people being in one space. So again, it needed to have the infrastructure, the Wi-Fi. I've gone to other places and worked where the Wi-Fi struggled, and I didn't want that to happen here. So this is Oaxaca is very expat friendly, very remote professional friendly. It has the villa that we have has strong Wi-Fi, good infrastructure. It's walkable. We can walk into towns. It has an established international community. So this just makes it super easy to navigate. If you have any concerns about what it would be like to be there, we've already taken care of that. And by we, I'm working with a travel agent. Previous workations, I've just picked a place and hosted them myself with my friends. But because this is my first public location, I am partnering with a travel agent who's just ensuring that we can have the best possible human experience. Right? Oaxaca isn't just a place that you stay, it's a place that you feel. There's a deep relationship to food, right? To just tradition and art and community. So if those are your things, if nature calling you and markets with fresh fruit and vegetables and culture and colors, if that's something that drives you, you'll want to join this workcation, right? This isn't a place where you go to consume. This is a place where you go to experience. And I think that that matters, right? It definitely matters to me. So again, that's why we don't have the packed itinerary. So if you're someone who wants to just kind of walk a market, you want to go and do like a little food tasting tour. Um, as much as you would like to connect, you can, and as much as you'd like to disconnect, you can. All right. Now, this isn't for everyone, which is why I require the info session, and which is why I'm requiring an application. This is not party travel. This is not a huge, this is an intimate experience. The villa will house six. And if you know me, you know I am somewhat of an introvert. I mean, I can party, but that's not what I go to a workcation for. I would be burned out if I had to be on for a week. And that's not the point of the workcation. So this isn't for someone who's looking for party. This isn't someone who's looking for nonstop social. This isn't someone who wants a jam-packed itinerary where something is laid out for you to do every hour of the day. It's also not for a resort type of vacation or hustle style environment. This is for people who value intention and want to ground and be in the moment. And you also have to be open to other cultures. I never go somewhere wanting to bring my way of living there. I want to learn about, respect, and be in that culture. And so I'm looking for other people that share that same rhythm and value system. Again, I will be reviewing applications to see if we can make a good fit. I'm not expecting everyone to be alike, but I want to ensure that there is a good fit and a good experience for everyone there. So I ask you before you complete the application to ask yourself to think about the type of woman that gives herself this experience. Think about the type of woman who gives herself this experience. Is that you? Right? Are you her? Do you want to be her? Right? Because that's the woman that I would like to join me on this workcation. So after the info session, you will receive an application. You are expected to complete the application in full. I will not make an immediate decision. Applying doesn't guarantee that you're in. I will take a look at the applications that come in and ensure that I have the right mix. So you've made the first step. You're here at the info session, you're listening to the information, and next you'll need to look out for your application so that you can apply. Approved applicants will be invited to confirm with a deposit. The deposit for this trip is $500. And because this is my first official Untethered workcation, I have created a little founding participant opportunity. I did learn that that's something that people appreciate. So if you confirm your participation within 48 hours of acceptance, so if you confirm with your deposit within 48 hours of acceptance, then I will knock $500 off of the total price for you. The total price is $4,000, but you will only pay $3,500. Your deposit goes towards your balance. So you will only pay $3,500 and everything will be taken care of for you. Now, the first deposit is going to be coming up soon, but remember that you'll need to pay within 48 hours to take advantage of that special. You don't have to use this payment timeline, but there is a payment timeline. The first payment is due on February 15th, the second on March 15th, the third on April 15th, and then the final on May 15th. And remember, the trip is at the end of May. You don't have to use this if you want to just go ahead and put everything on a card or go ahead and pay for everything at one time. You can do that, but there's no penalty for prepayment or for the payment plan, right? So, however you want to do this, as long as you're ready to go and spend some time with me in Mexico, May 23rd through the 30th. If you have any questions that I have not covered today, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm just a DM or an email away. I want to make sure that you have everything that you need so that you can be intentional about planning your workcation in Oaxaca, Mexico with me in May. Talk to you.